Letters from Christopher. The Tragic Confessions of the Watts Family Murders by Cheryln Cadle. Chapter 24. The Arrests, Plea, and Sentencing. Lastly, an agent asked Christopher if a Frederick police officer could come in and photograph him without his shirt on to make sure he didn't have any marks or injuries on him. Christopher agreed, and the officer photographed his face, head, arms, chest, back, hands, and legs. The officer told the FBI agent the photographs would be placed into their digital evidence storage system. Following the interview, Christopher was taken into custody. There was a belly belt put on him attached to the handcuffs. He was escorted to the Frederick Police Department SUV. They drove to the Weld County Jail. On the way there, the officer said he did not talk to Christopher, and Christopher was silent the entire time. At 3 a.m., he was released to the Weld County Jail facility. Between the time Christopher was arrested and sentenced, there were things that happened at his house that makes a person take pause. There is an opposite to good. It is evil. Evil can present itself in different forms. Strange things connected to the story, such as one evening, not long after the murders. The police were called, the neighbors seeing a woman walking around in the garage. There are police cam videos of 4 policemen arriving at the Watts house clearly show the garage lights were on. As they opened the front door, they were met with an eerie darkness coming from in the house. They were inside and yelled several times for whoever was in the house to make themselves known. There was no answer. They went to the garage and with guns drawn, opened the door to the garage and yelled again. When they opened the garage door, however, the lights were off. They searched every inch of the house, but no one was in there. There was no way out of the garage without coming into the house without opening the big garage door, but then they would have had no way to shut it. It was obvious on the police cam video they felt something too. They kept shining their lights into the darkness over and over. Who turned the lights on? Who turned them off? Still another evening, at 9:05 p.m., the police were called to the house regarding an unknown person seen going up to the house. Upon arrival, the police advised the neighbor from next door that had video pointed toward the Watts house. The video showed a large black vehicle pulling up to the address 2825 Saratoga Trail, and then an unknown female stepped out of the vehicle and walked up to the door of the house. The police said the woman could not be seen leaving the residence, and the garage lights came on when they had been off. As the police entered the house, they gave loud announcements they were entering, but no one was there. They searched the house again and found no one. They turned all the lights off that were on in the house and locked all the doors as they left. On September 21st, 2018, the police received yet another message from some unknown person who said her deceased daughter's back door is open at her house. This is the home of Shanann Watts. The police walked the perimeter of the home. All doors and windows were secure, and there was no sign of forced entry to the home. Again at 8:50 p.m., another call came in to respond to the residents. There were lights on that had not been on earlier. Several police officers responded. They searched the residence again. There were lights on, but they did not see anything was bothered. They turned off the lights and left, making sure all doors were locked. What or who was playing with this house? Was it something supernatural? Research shows often demons will play with lights and electronic things. When the agents knew Christopher was lying and he had flunked the polygraph test, things moved swiftly. First, they had to find out where the bodies were. It was an unreal task for them to have to empty crude oil batteries in order to get little girls out. His mother, in her quest to find out what had really happened, met with many dead ends. The judicial system was very difficult for them to deal with. After the authorities arrested Christopher, his family was not allowed to see him or talk to him until the day before the sentencing. Christopher's attorneys flew Ronnie, Cindy, and Jamie to Colorado to see him before he was sentenced. Oh Lord. They were told he had to plead guilty to killing his entire family. His family feels his attorneys did not make him plead guilty, but they strongly advised him to. All in an effort, they told him to save his life. This did not sit well with Christopher or his family. but for different reasons, he says he had a hard time with it, but did not want the death penalty. His family, not having been told any details, felt like he should have not been pleading guilty if Shanann had killed the girls. He told his family he was pleading guilty to all of the murders for a reason. However, he gave them no details. So they went into the sentencing having no idea about the circumstances surrounding them. The state of Colorado automatically gives a life sentence to someone who murders another individual. The DA said he wanted to seek the death penalty and would have, except Shanann's mother begged him not to. Unbelievable. If he had sought the death penalty, he probably would have gotten it. Definitely, he would have got it. How could circumstances have been any more favorable for it? This may show how Sandy Ruszczyk loved her son-in-law more than he realizes. She is to be commended her for that. That don't make sense, okay? That is very difficult. If at all had not come down the way it did, if they had not arrested him as soon as they did, Christopher says he had decided to plead guilty anyway. He said he had to get past the anger and the memory loss first. In Christopher's own words, however, the morning of the murders did not happen because he just broke into a rage. He may have been angry for sure, but this anger had been building for weeks, some of it for years. He started to plan these killings. Once started, he was not able to stop it. He became obsessed with it. My God. Christopher said had they not gotten the evidence to arrest him, he already planned on confessing to the murders. Yeah, right. He just couldn't remember everything about the murders to tell them, he says. It was hard for him because at that time he did not feel remorse, but he had to pretend like he did. He didn't do a good job of that pretending. He's not a good actor. He does not like for people to hate him, he says. He even apologized to the agents during the interrogations that he had lied to them, yet he continued to lie. His attorneys kept telling him and told his family they were just trying to save his life. After he was arrested and told his attorneys what he could remember, they were willing to tell whatever he wanted them to tell about the murders. He said they had some very angry, very stressful times going over the case and what his options were. He said he felt heartless, angry, and defiant up until October 1st when it all broke for him. Below is the written plea that was presented on his behalf. Written waiver and guilty plea. Number 1, I am the defendant in this case. Number 2, I have had enough time to talk to my lawyers about this case, and she has discussed the evidence against me. I have fully explained my side to him or her. Number 3, I believe the district attorney has enough evidence to convict me at trial. Number 4, I am satisfied that my plea of guilty is in my best interest. Number 5, I understand that I have the right to exercise any or all of the following rights, even against my lawyer's advice. A, the right to remain silent about this case. B, the right to have my lawyer represent me and be present with me during any conferences or questioning by anyone about this case at all court hearings and at trial. C, the right to plead not guilty and have a jury trial. And D, the right to appeal my case to the highest court if I am convicted at trial. Number 6, I understand that the right to a jury trial includes A, the right to help select a jury, B, the right to confront witnesses who testify against me and to have my lawyer cross-examine them about their testimony, C, the right to be presumed innocent unless and until the district attorney proves my guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, D, the right to have my lawyer call witnesses to testify for me if I want and if necessary, to have the judge order witnesses to come to court. Number 7, I have read and understand the elements of the charge or charges that I am pleading guilty to as shown on the attached sheets. Number 8, I have read and understand the possible penalties that I could be sentenced to, which are shown on the attached sheets. Number 9, my plea is freely, intelligently, and voluntarily given. I know that I am giving up all the rights described above. I understand these rights. I am giving up these rights and pleading guilty of my own free will. No one has pressured me or tried to make me plead guilty against my own will. I have not decided to plead guilty because of anything I have been told except for the agreements shown on the attached sheets. Number 10. I understand that the record may be further supplemented by police reports, affidavits, or other documentation attached or provided at the time of sentencing. Number 11. I understand if I am not a citizen of the United States, the guilty plea may cause collateral consequences, including but not limited to deportation, exclusion from admission in the United States, or denial of naturalization. Number 12. I understand that following the sentencing in this matter, I have in certain circumstances the right to appeal review of my conviction and sentence. A notice of appeal must be filed within 7 weeks or 49 days of the sentence. I also understand that if I am determined indigent by the court, and I have the right to assistance of appointed counsel upon the review of my conviction and the right to obtain a record and appeal without payment on cost. Additionally, I understand that I may have the right to seek post-conviction reduction of my sentence in the trial court within 18 weeks, or 126 days of the of sentence. 13. I have read this form and understand it. My lawyer has answered all my questions to my satisfaction. Defendant Christopher Watts, November 15, 2018. Number 14. I represent that I have reviewed this advisement with the defendant. I believe he or she understands his/her rights, the charge or charges to which he/she is pleading guilty, and the possible penalties. I also believe that the defendant's plea is freely, intelligently, and voluntarily given. Attorney for the defendant, November 15, 2018. Number 15. On behalf of the Office of the District Attorney, November 6, 2018.